Sword. Introduction to the Omnipotent System. Lin Ye, who travels through the beacon fire, gains the Omnipotent System. On the way to killing enemies, weapons that surpass the times are constantly emerging. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining a warship. Chapter 1. Traversing. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Parallel Spacetime. 1940 Yunlong in Jinzhong. The new regiment led by Yunlong was ordered to intercept the enemy's 3rd Brigade, Cicada Brigade, at Yunlong and cover the transfer of superiors. Shio shio shio, boom 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 boom. Shells exploded one by one on the position of the new regiment. Squad leader. Squad leader. Don't sleep, wake up. When the enemy's artillery stops, the infantry will come up. A young warrior who appeared to be 20.1 or 12 years old was swaying as the shockwave of the shell overturned a man who had fainted to the side. Yifeng finally woke up from the shaking of the little soldier. In a daze, the man looked at the little soldier wearing gray clothes from the 8th Root Army during the anti-Japanese war and said in confusion, "Brother, where is this? Are you filming a TV drama? Where is the director? Where is the camera?" The little soldier looked at the words spoken by the awakened squad leader, except for the first sentence that he could understand. "I can understand every word I say separately, but how can I not understand what it means when I connect it together?" However, I was still responsible and explained, "Class monitor, this is the Yunlong battlefield. As for what you mean by director and photography, what do you mean? Brother, stop joking. This is the 21st century, how could anyone still not know what director and camera mean?" Yifeng said with a smile. "Class monitor, I know I don't have as much knowledge as you do, but you can't bury people like this, can you?" said the little soldier with a mournful expression. Yifeng looked at the soldier in front of him, his speech didn't seem like a joke. "Are you really not filming a TV drama?" he asked tentatively. "Class monitor, are we really not filming the TV drama you mentioned now? Tell me everything about the current situation in detail." After hearing the squad leader's words, the little soldier briefly explained the current situation to his squad leader for 2 minutes. After hearing the explanation from the young soldier, Yifeng murmured, "Yunlong, the new regiment is led by Yunlong. It all sounds like characters and locations from the TV series Sword. Did I travel through time? No, it must be fake. It must be my good friends looking for actors to play me. Know that I am an angry youth, and tomorrow is my birthday. So find some group performances to prepare for an unforgettable birthday for me." Class monitor, what are you muttering about? What's so big? What's playing you? Who wants to play you? Yifeng didn't answer the little soldier's question, but instead asked, "Brother, what's your name?" Class monitor, what's wrong with you? Aren't you confused by the explosion? My name is Lin Ergu. Did you personally recruit a new team? Yifeng roast in his heart. I personally recruited a new team from God TM. Are all the group performances so serious now, brothers? Just as Yifeng was about to say something, a corner of his eye suddenly caught a glimpse. Not far from himself, there was a person dressed in gray 8th Root Army clothing lying there. A bright red liquid gushed out from his body, along with an arm that was lost at some point. Yifeng looked at the scene in horror and stuttered, You. Are you all so realistic in your filming now?" He pointed at the body in fear and said, "Are these people really dead?" After this complete sentence, Yifeng's back was already covered in cold sweat. You know, it's winter now. The 8th Root Army is also a unit lacking winter clothes. Even if the leader of the new regiment, Yunlong, can still fight and obtain equipment and supplies. I haven't achieved a winter uniform for every person. As the cold wind blew, Yifeng shuddered several times in a row. The little soldier heard this, but the squad leader still said something about filming. After explaining again, he continued, "Class monitor, since you have nothing else to do, prepare for it. The sound of the little devil's gunfire has just stopped. I estimate they will also come up." After finishing speaking, the little warrior returned to his combat position. Yifeng clearly saw a look of disdain in his eyes as the little soldier turned around. Just as Yifeng was still recalling what the contemptuous gaze of the little soldier meant, he heard someone shouting, "Everyone, prepare for battle." The sound of distant and approaching echoed in my ears. This familiar voice finally confirmed me. I have really traveled through time. It's not my big brother joking with me. Familiarity is due to the fact that when I looked at Liangjian before, I knew it was the voice of Zhang Dabiao, the beloved general of Li Yunlong, just by his tone of voice. Thief, my god. I just say things on forums every day. What if I could travel back to the anti-Japanese period? But you don't have to play with me, really. It's just that I've really traveled through time. Can you at least equip me with a system? Without a system, in this era of chaos and wars everywhere, I rely on my own inability to carry on my shoulders and carry my hands. How can we survive? After a few harsh criticisms in his heart, Yifeng picked up a rifle from his hand and imitated the appearance of the little soldier. He lay down in an empty place, waiting for Zhang Dabiao's order to fire. At this moment, a mechanical sound rang out in Yifeng's mind. Ding, the all-around system is being bound. Ding, system binding successful. The Ding beginner gift pack has been distributed, please check it carefully. Upon hearing the mechanical sound, Yifeng suppressed his excitement and disappointment. What's the use of an all-around system? It's better to have it than not. To hurry up and take a look at the beginner gift package in the system before the enemy comes up. System, open the beginner gift pack. Ding, the beginner gift pack has been opened. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the passive skill Firearms Mastery. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the passive skill 100 shots and 100 hits. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining an unlimited summoning card. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining a Kar 98K rifle with a base of 200 bullets. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining a tactical backpack. It has unlimited interior space and can store system rewards. Yifeng saw that the rewards in the system were all things he could currently use. The disappointment I had just felt was lost somewhere, not at all. With a smile on his face, quickly click on the introduction of Gun Mastery in 100 strikes to check. Firearms Mastery, passive. Able to proficiently use any firearm, whether it's World War II or World War I or ultra-modern firearms. 100 shots, 100 hits, passive. With just a shot, you can hit the enemy. As for where to hit, it all depends on proficiency. After reading the introduction, Yifeng let out a long sigh of relief from Yu reading at www.yuukangshu.net. Now, as long as he persevered, his chances of surviving this battle were much higher. Quickly put aside the Hanyang Zao, which had been worn flat with rifling for an unknown amount of time. While no one was paying attention, I took out the Kar 98K rifle from the System Beginner Gift Package reward. Name: Kar 98K rifle, caliber 7.92 mm, total length 1110 mm, barrel length 610 mm, weight 4.1 kg, muzzle velocity 760 meters/second, effective range 800 meters, ammunition capacity. Magazine with 5 rounds. When the rifle was taken out and held in his hand, Yifeng, with the assistance of his proficiency in passive skill firearms, learned about all the performance of the rifle. Just as Yifeng was about to continue comparing and praising, he heard Zhang Dabiao shouting loudly, "Open fire." Startled, Yifeng quickly retrieved 5 bullets from the system space. He hurriedly pressed the bullet into the barrel of the gun. At this point, I realized that although I have the skills to master firearms, but it's not something that can be achieved overnight. I am now a person with only theoretical knowledge, rather than a skilled firearm warrior. It's just when there's something new to acquire in the future, someone else can use dozens or hundreds of firearms proficiently. Just need a few shots to familiarize yourself with the feel and barrel of the gun. Yifeng raised his gun and aimed towards the football chicken about 200 meters ahead of him. Pop! Yifeng, who pulled the trigger, was hit in the shoulder by the recoil of the 98K rifle in his hand, causing the wooden stock of the firearm to ache. Chapter 2. 56 Semi-Automatic Rifles. You are listening at novelfull.audio. You should know that Yifeng in his past life was jokingly referred to as a crispy college student by netizens. I haven't done any heavy work before. If I had traveled a week earlier, at least I would have had some time to adapt. This sudden crossing, the sudden battlefield battles. I didn't give him much buffer time. Rubbing his shoulders, Yifeng picked up his gun and prepared to continue killing the little devils. Seeing the little devil I hit just now, he didn't die but was hit in the calf. When I became an injured person, while roast in my heart, I felt that, the passivity of every shot is really the same as described. While pulling the bolt and reloading, he fired another shot at the little devil. Yifeng, who has already had one experience, is ready to be hit by the stock of the gun. Ding, the host kills one private and gains 3 points, ding, obtained from the first kill, one domestically produced 56 semi-automatic rifle. 1 bullet base, 200 rounds. Just as Yifeng was preparing to search for the next target, the mechanical prompt sound of the system rang in his mind. System, can you still kill enemies and explode equipment? Yes, aren't you an all-around system? When Yifeng finished firing the remaining 3 bullets in his gun and squatted down to change them, he asked the system about what had just happened. Yes, this system has the capabilities of all systems. Upon hearing the system's explanation, Yifeng felt a bit disorganized for a moment. What does it mean? Almighty, is that how it is explained? No comment, explore on your own. After changing the bullets, Yifeng leaned back into the trench to search for the target and carried out the killing. Pop 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 pop. In just over 10 minutes, I used bullets from 4 magazines. Unfortunately, although I used 20 bullets, I only killed 10 little devils. The rest of the bullets were just injured. At the beginning, there was only the second round of the 5 shots, the one that was shot and killed. The second 5-shot killed 2, the third 5-shot killed 3, and the fourth 5-shot killed 4. It can be clearly seen that with the blessing of passive firing, one's marksmanship has started to increase the hit and death rate against the little ghost. Yifeng, who had replaced the 5th magazine, was about to continue killing the enemy when he saw the Japanese orderly starting to retreat. Silently estimating, the little devil was still within the effective range of his rifle. He quickly raised his gun and fired, reloading and continuing to aim and fire. Until the bullets from the newly loaded magazine were all fired, I saw 5 little devils dying one after another. Not far from Yifeng, an 8th Route Army officer who was observing through a telescope saw that while the little devils were retreating, someone had shot and killed 5 of them in a row. Happy and loudly asked, "Good marksmanship, which dog day did it come from?" After waiting for a long time without getting a response, I continued to ask in a voice. Seeing that no one has answered their question yet, put down the telescope in your hand. Looking at the dozens of soldiers beside him, he cursed loudly, "Are all dozens of you deaf? Didn't you hear what I asked you?" Dozens of soldiers, upon hearing the man's words, looked left and right at the other person, but no one spoke. Huzi, do you know who hit it? Captain, I don't know either. But looking at that direction, which is Captain Zhang's position, he probably knows. Really, I didn't expect there to be such a powerful figure under Zhang Dabiao's Dog Day hands, the captain said with a smile and scolding after hearing Huzi's answer. Let's go find the sharpshooter who killed the 5 devils with 5 guns. After the leader finished speaking, he took the lead in walking towards the position of the 1st Battalion. After the leader's words fell, he took the lead in moving towards the position of the 1st Battalion. Huzi followed closely behind and couldn't help but speak, Captain, the little devils have already retreated. I guess they will start a new round of shelling soon. Shall we temporarily evacuate first? The leader responded as he walked, Huzi, are you afraid? Huzi quickly denied, no, Captain. It's just that I think it's better to be cautious. The captain stopped and looked at the tiger, your concerns are correct, but you also need to see when it is now. Don't the little devils need to rest and eat? Yifeng didn't know yet, because of what happened just now, he had already entered the eyes of the new regiment leader Li Yunlong. He has now walked towards here with his guards and tiger son. Now he is calculating the reward given by the system for killing 15 little devils himself. Ding, the host kills 3 upper-class soldiers and gains 9 points. Ding, the host kills 7 second-class soldiers and earns 7 points. Ding, the host kills 4 first-class soldiers and gains 8 points. Ding, kill more than 10 people, reward 556 assault rifles. There are 5 bullet bases, 1,500 rounds. Yifeng looked at the semi-automatic rifles and automatic rifles in the domestically produced Type 56 gun family that were rewarded by the system. I suddenly felt that the 98K rifle in my hand was not fragrant. You should know that the 98K is always a bolt-action rifle, which means firing one shot requires a previous rifle. It's the same as the 38 big lid used by the Little Devil. The Type 56 semi-automatic rifle with the first kill reward was developed by rabbits in the 1950s to imitate the SKS of the furry bear. The last time it was loaded, it was possible to shoot 10 bullets in a row. When Yifeng took out the semi-automatic rifle from the system while there was no one around, he heard the system's beep sound in his ears. Ding, due to the firearm in the host's hand, some technologies do not belong to the current era. Activate the simulation and illusion function. Except for the host, others will subconsciously think that this gun is a formal rifle. The system is quite considerate. After listening to the system prompts, Yifeng carefully recalled his mastery of passive firearms and the information transmitted to him about this gun. Type 56 semi-automatic rifle, caliber 7.62 by 39 mm, full gun length. 1025 mm, 1260 mm with bayonet attached, full gun weight, without ammunition. 3.85 kilograms, magazine capacity. 10 rounds, using non-removable magazines for ammunition supply, range. The calibrated range on the scale is 1000 meters, with a maximum range of 2000 meters and an effective range of 400.600 meters. It can strike group targets at a distance of 800 meters. Initial speed 735 meters/second, combat firing rate 35.40 rounds/minute, shooting principle. The locking mechanism adopts a gun tilting locking mechanism. Oh, I just got familiar with the performance of the 98K rifle and now I have another 56.5 that I need to familiarize myself with again. Please don't be cheap and sell well. If you don't want the 56 semi-automatic rifle, the system can replace it with Sandico's 98K or Eagle Sauce's M1 Garand rifle for the host. Upon hearing the systematic words in his mind, Yifeng shook his head repeatedly. Although 98K and M1 Garland were both good, we must be a patriotic young man. When there are domestically produced weapons that can be used, refuse to use imported ones. Just as Yifeng was playing with the 56 semi-automatic rifle, Li Yunlong and Huzi, accompanied by Zhang Dabiao, were about to approach him. "Captain, why don't you go back to your command post? The little devils you've seen are about to start." "Alright, what should I do and still have you teach me dog days?" Zhang Dabiao, who had been scolded, said with a mournful expression, "Captain, I'm not teaching you how to do things. I'm just afraid." "Pooh, pooh, pooh. Your dog's crow mouth, you can't expect me to order it well." When Yifeng was just retracting the 98K system tactical backpack, he heard someone loudly say, "Alright, I'm just here to see the sharpshooter hidden by you, you bastard. Why do you have so much nonsense? Besides, even if I'm not looking at the sharpshooter, let me inspect your situation after the little devil's attack." "This familiar loud voice is definitely Captain Li Yunlong," Yifeng said with emotion. After sighing, Yifeng muttered to himself, "But the sharpshooter he mentioned can't be me, right?" Zhang Dabiao heard Li Yunlong say that he had no choice but to hide a sharpshooter. "Captain, if I really hit a sharpshooter, how could my battalion still suffer such heavy casualties in the previous battles?" After hearing Zhang Dabiao's words that were no different from complaining, Li Yunlong also became suspicious. But from looking through his glasses, you should know that Li's eyes are like rulers, and what he sees is definitely not wrong. Chapter 3. Powerful Phantom Function. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. 5 minutes ago Kang Yunling, Sakata Joint Command Headquarters Sakata Nobutaka, looking at the 1st Brigade, which had once again failed to attack, turned to the Chief of Staff and asked, "Pu Yujun, how many attacks have we made?" The Chief of Staff of the Sakata Squadron heard his own captain's inquiry and replied, "Your Excellency, this is our 12th attack." After hearing the answer from Chief of Staff Puyu, Sakata Nobuyoshi cursed loudly. "Baga, during the Battle of Shinko, both of Baldi's divisions were easily defeated by us, but now we are encountering the Rabbit Army. Just a group of farmers who have just laid down their hoes. Surprisingly blocked our 9 attacks, Captain. I also looked at the 5th Squadron of the 1st Brigade just now, which was blocked by the enemy's defensive minefield. I think after resting, the 1st Brigade can definitely attack the enemy's position." New Regiment, 1st Battalion Position, Class Monitor, when did your marksmanship become so good? The little soldier who misunderstood Yifeng came to Yifeng and asked awkwardly. He looked up and saw that it was the little soldier who had been talking to him before. He smiled and said, "I don't look down on the squad leader anymore." Little soldier, upon hearing Yifeng's teasing, reached out and scratched the back of his head. Yifeng looked at the embarrassed little soldier and shook his head, asking, "What's your name?" The little soldier heard his question and looked at the other person with a puzzled hand behind his head, thinking. "I was personally recruited by the squad leader as a soldier, and after joining the new regiment, I also followed the squad leader. Why doesn't the squad leader know my name?" Yifeng also looked at the little soldier at the same time. Seeing the other person's puzzled expression, he didn't wait for the other person to ask before explaining, "I should have hit my head under the impact of a bomb, and lost my memory." The little soldier heard Yifeng's words and anxiously asked, "Captain, is there anything you need to do? Should I call a military doctor to show you?" Yifeng waved his hand and said, "It's not a big deal, it's just that he forgot about the past, so." The little soldier nodded vaguely and said, "Class Monitor, my name is Lin Erden." Upon hearing the name Lin Erden, Yifeng's cerebellum suddenly shrank for a moment. "I thought to myself that it really has the name and atmosphere of this era. Class Monitor, haven't you said how your marksmanship improved? Just now, when I saw the little devils retreating, 5 shots from your position killed 5 of them. I haven't heard of our team yet. Who has such amazing marksmanship?" When Lin Erden was talking about Yifeng's achievements just now, he was overheard by Li Yunlong and Zhang Dabiao who were walking here. He, who was still self-doubting just now, finally confirmed upon hearing Lin Ergu's words that what he saw in the telescope was true. Zhang Dabiao, on the other hand, had a bitter smile on his face and was thinking to himself. Yifeng, a dog of the day, didn't reveal this trick earlier. It's only now that it's revealed. I just told the team that I don't have a hidden sharpshooter. You're here now, my old face. Li Yunlong turned his head to look at Zhang Dabiao and said, damn it, Zhang Dabiao said you didn't hide a sharpshooter. Yi Feng and Lin Ergu also heard Li Yunlong's thick voice and looked over at the source of the sound. Yi Feng stood up with Lin Ergu and only greeted them after he finished saying hello. Yi madman, you're so damn. Before Li Yunlong could say anything, Zhang Dabiao was the first to speak. Captain, Dabiao, why are you barking like a dog? It startles me. After Li Yunlong finished speaking, his eyes lit up as he looked at Yi Feng and said with a smile. You can do it, kid. 5 shots can kill 5 little devils. Do you have a fight with me? Captain, this is all luck. It's all luck. Yi Feng, who was talking about luck, said in his heart that he would compete with you. Others don't know, I don't know yet. How could your shooting skill of Li Da's head be as good as I have been blessed by the system? Li Yunlong heard Yi Feng say that he killed the little devil by luck. Laugh and curse until. What TND luck? You are. Sakata Joint Command Headquarters, Captain, I just received a telegram from the brigade commander. Read. Our enemy on the opposite side is the main force of the 129th Division of the 18th Group Army of the National Revolutionary Army. We are ordered to occupy the Kangyunling position before noon and must completely annihilate the enemy. Long live His Majesty the Emperor. Long live the Empire of the Big Foot Bowl. Yoxi, do you know the designation of the army in opposite? Captain, the intelligence only says that the enemy is a main force in the 386th Brigade of the 129th Division, and the specific number is unknown. Ba Guyalu, after a day of fighting, I don't even know what the opponent's serial number is. After Sakata Nobutaka finished speaking angrily, he observed with a telescope and said, order the artillery to start shelling in 10 minutes. After further destroying the enemy's minefield, let the 3rd Squadron start attacking the enemy's position. Hai Pu Yu, who received the command, began to convey Sakata Nobuyoshi's command. New battalion position. Li Yunlong, who returned to his regimental headquarters with Yi Feng. Turning to Yi Feng, he said, when you start fighting, you'll be right next to me. I want to see if your marksmanship is really flawless. Or is it luck as you said? Yes. By the way, we'll prioritize killing machine gunners and grenade throwers later. Yes. Just as Li Yunlong had arranged it, he heard the little devil's infantry running and starting a new round of shelling. Shio shio shio, boom 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 boom, bang 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 bang. The little devil's bullets all fell into the minefield set by Li Yunlong at the forefront of the position. Concealed. With the start of the artillery fire, the commander of the new battalion commanded, and his soldiers hid in the pre-dug cat ear holes to avoid the shelling. 3rd Squadron, give it to Tuzi. The captain of the 3rd Squadron looked at the artillery and had almost broken through the minefield in front of the new regiment's position. Immediately ordered the little devils from the 3rd Center to launch a new round of attacks towards the new regiment's position. Quickly return to your respective combat positions. The little devils are coming up. As the shelling ended, the soldiers of the new regiment returned to their respective combat positions under command. Yi Feng, who had entered the battle position, was holding the Type 56 semi-automatic rifle that appeared to be an official to outsiders. He aimed at the little devil with a crooked handlebar machine gun in his hand. When we reached 500 meters, we pulled the trigger. Who fired the TND? Isn't this a waste of bullets? Upon hearing the gunshots, Li Yunlong cursed loudly at Yu reading www.yuukangshu.net. Unexpectedly, just as he finished cursing, he heard, "Brother, it's okay. I've hit you so far." Without hearing the reward from the system, Yi Feng spoke up in his mind, what's the use of hitting, and he didn't kill. The soldier on the side heard his words and asked again, how do you know you didn't kill him? Just as Yi Feng was about to say something, Li Yunlong, who happened to come out of the command center, heard their conversation and said, Ye madman, take another shot and see. Pa Yi Feng aimed at another little devil with a grenade launcher. A shot came. Ding, kill one grenade thrower and reward 4 points. Li Yunlong took his binoculars and looked over, and a little devil with a grenade launcher in his hand had his head blooming. Turning his head to look at Yi Feng continuing to fire, he petrified. My heart burst with joy. Oh my goodness, I found a treasure by Li Yunlong. I need to hide it well, but I can't let the brigade commander know. Pop 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 pop. Yi Feng, who had finished hitting a magazine in a row, squatted down. Bend over and run towards the nearby position. Seeing Yi Feng running to the side, Li Yunlong knew. A sharpshooter cannot shoot continuously in one position. Yi Feng was lucky enough to shoot 10 shots in this position before being targeted by the little devils. Yi Feng, who was running away, did not hear it. Li Yunlong and other soldiers asked themselves why they could shoot 10 shots in a row without pulling the bolt. Unexpectedly, the system's illusion function is so powerful that it can make others subconsciously ignore whether they have loaded or not. Chapter 4. Impossible Little Devils. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. De Co Lois Ara Trong Quatrin Lay Text. Chapter 5. Preparation for Attack. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Sitting on the ground, Yi Feng leaned against the trench and calculated his systematic rewards in this battle. Ding, kill 42 soldiers, second class/first class/upper class, and earn 238 points. Ding, kill 5 officers and earn 20 points. Ding, kill 3 soldiers and earn 15 points. Ding, kill 2 people Chao Chang and earn 20 points. Ding, kill 1 second lieutenant and earn 50 points. Ding, kill more than 20 people and reward 1 Colt M1911 pistol. There are 5 rounds per round, 40 rounds per round. Ding, kill more than 30 people, reward the Constitution potion, already used. Ding. Kill more than 50 people and reward 156 light machine gun. Ammunition has 3 bases, 1,000 rounds per base. After reading the system rewards, Yi Feng realized that he had killed 53 little devils in this battle, all of which were a full squad of 1 little devil. Plus the previous 15 people, there are 68 people. After calculation, Yi Feng roast in his heart. Unexpectedly, I have already killed 68 little devils. If I were to post on my social media that I had killed so many little devils in less than 3 hours after traveling, no one would believe it. This situation can probably be seen in the anti-Japanese drama Before Crossing the Border. The online novels related to the anti-Japanese war are not so exaggerated. Captain, the casualties have been counted. There are currently 80 severely injured and 158 lightly injured. Li Yunlong, who was waiting for the report, heard Zhang Dabiao finish speaking and asked, what about those who were not injured or sacrificed? 768 people remained unharmed. 185 people were sacrificed. Li Yunlong heard that his new regiment had suffered such heavy casualties. You should know that after taking over the new team, in just 1 year, you developed a basic team of 600 or 700 people into a main team with nearly 2,000 people. But in this morning's obstruction, more than half of the casualties have already occurred. Just like in this battle, if it weren't for Yi Feng's priority in clearing the little devil's grenade launchers and light machine gun teams, we would have had to take the casualties to the next level. Li Yunlong, who remembered something, asked, by the way, has Dabiao figured out who our opponent is this time? Got it. It's the Sakata Squadron of the 4th Brigade. Li Yunlong heard that it was Sakata United and said with a smile, Sakata United, why do you sound so familiar? Last time during the Yunlong anti-sweeping campaign, our brigade's independent regiment had an encounter with the Sakata United. The regimental leader Kong Jie was injured, and political commissar Li Wenying died. You said he was our brigade's arch-nemesis. Okay, I was thinking about how to avenge my old comrade, but I didn't expect to encounter him. If I don't hurt Sakata United today, I won't be able to see my old comrade in the future. Captain, but the order we have received is to intercept the enemy here, cover the division headquarters and field hospital's relocation. Besides, the Sakata Squadron is an elite unit known as the Little Devils, given our current situation. What kind of TND? The elite I played is the elite. Send me orders, everyone put on bayonets and prepare to attack. Upon hearing the conversation between the two, Yi Feng's lips lit up with a smile. You are truly Li Yunlong, you can turn a resistance battle into an attack. 386 Brigade Command Headquarters, Chief of Staff, have the division headquarters and field hospitals been transferred yet? Old Chen, I just received a notification from headquarters that the transfer has been completed. I was just about to tell you, but you asked first. Once the transfer is completed, it's good. This way, Li Yunlong's new mission will be completed, and they can be ordered to retreat. The Chief of Staff said bitterly, yes, since yesterday, I have received orders to rush to Kangyanling and intercept them. By now, I estimate that more than half of the casualties have occurred in the new regiment. Upon hearing the Chief of Staff's words, Old Chen also lowered his face, but quickly withdrew. Looking down at the sand table placed in the house, thinking about which direction would be appropriate for the new ball to break through. After 3 to 5 minutes, Old Chen suddenly shouted in front of his eyes, Communication Squad Leader. 2. Go, send someone to Kangyanling to tell Li Yunlong to break through from the direction of Yujieling, where the 771 and 772 regiments will cover them. The communication team leader, upon receiving the order, turned around and arranged for someone to ride a fast horse to notify the new team. Chief of Staff, call the 771st and 772nd regiments and inform them. Okay. New battalion position. Li Yunlong, lying on the edge of the trench, carefully observed the position of the Little Devils with his binoculars, searching for where to attack. After searching for a long time, I finally saw several soldiers raising their antennas in a relatively high area across from me. The tent below looks like a command center. He muttered, God help, you can't run away like a dog this time. Ask your own security guards to call the new cannon king over. Not long after, a gray-faced 8th Route Army ran over from the rear of the position. Captain, you call me. After turning his head to look at the other person, he asked, Pillar, can your cannon reach the tent across from you? Standing forward on the pillar, I extended my arm and raised my thumb to estimate the distance. Looking at Li Yunlong's answer, move forward for 500 meters and it's safe to go. Okay, then I'll send you to a location of 500 meters. Yi Fengzi. Yi Feng, who had been following Li Yunlong all along, heard him call him himself. Captain, what's wrong? When we attack later, will it be up to you? Jinsui Army 358th Regiment Base. A man with a colonel rank hanging on his shoulder stood on the city wall, looking towards the direction of Tsangyin Ridge with his binoculars in his hand. A colonel officer wearing glasses walked up from under the city wall. Speaking to the previous colonel. Tuanzhua, this time we have encountered a tough situation. Their opponent is the Sakata Brigade of the 4th Brigade of the 1st Army stationed in Jin from the North China side. Colonel heard that Yu was reading a book at www.yuukangshu.net while facing the opponent of the 8th Route Army. With a smile, he said, Sakata United is really a narrow enemy. Let's have a fight with him last time. Yeah, back in the Battle of Shinko, they managed to defeat 2 bold divisions. Last time we fought with them in the wilderness for only an hour, we lost over 300 casualties. If it weren't for us retreating quickly, we would have. It seems that the 8th route across from us is about to be annihilated, said the colonel with a heavy heart. Yeah, they've been fighting for over 10 hours since yesterday. Xiao Xiaoling snorted coldly and said, it's better to be done. They only have a few broken guns, so they went beyond their means to block a fully staffed Japanese army squadron. It's like a fat cat shaking a big tree, beyond their means. Brother Li Gong, you can just say this to me. Don't spread it out. It's a period of cooperation now, and if someone with a heart hears about it. Halfway through, the colonel turned his head and looked at Sangyin Ridge with his glasses. After hearing the colonel's words, the lieutenant colonel shuddered and said, Regiment, what you're saying is. Brother Li Gong, do you think we can provide some artillery support to the 8th Route Army that is blocking the Sakata Brigade? The Second World War Zone Commander's Office has repeatedly issued orders that our Jin Sui Army cannot assist the 8th Route Army, especially if we cooperate with them in combat, which requires the Commander's Office's command. Alas, I can't help but see our own defense forces being annihilated. I feel uncomfortable, the colonel said with emotion. There's nothing we can do about it, your principal. Brother Li Gong, stop it. Let the front observation post closely monitor the movements of Sangyin Ridge. Report any situation to me at any time. The colonel finished speaking and walked down the city wall. Chapter 6. Bold and Brave Li Yunlong. You are listening at novelfull.audio. New battalion position. The new regiment, which is already ready for attack, can start attacking the Sakata United team with the command of Li Yunlong. Advance the escort pillar 500 meters forward, so that the pillar can use its artillery to shoot down the command center of the Little Devils. Just as Li Yunlong was about to order an attack, Zhang Dabiao walked over. Captain, just now the brigade sent a correspondent over and asked me to break through from the direction of Yujieling. What? Breaking through from the direction of Yujieling. MD, if I really break through from the direction of Yujieling, the Little Devil will definitely. Yi Feng, who was lying on the side, stood up and looked at him. Captain, I have a suggestion that I don't know why I shouldn't say it, he said. If you have any suggestions, just say, stuttering and the girls chattering. Don't you know that's what bothers me the most? Yi Feng, who had been scolded, pursed his lips and said, Captain, you're worried about breaking out from the direction of Yujieling and being entangled by the Little Devils. It's not wrong. But if you don't break through from Yujieling, it will be a rebellion. Have you ever thought about the consequences? On the battlefield, disobedience can lead to being shot, right? Is it so serious? Didn't I just fail to break through from Yujieling? Where did I break through, wasn't it? Yi Feng heard his almost mischievous and tangled expression. I couldn't help but think of a quote from Kong Jia in the original play. You have been used to being a captain's treasure, what a great sin to disobey on the battlefield. If it were for me, Kong Jia would have been shot countless times. Captain, do you want to hear what you're saying? You really think the responsibility for disobeying orders on the battlefield can be forgiven by the brigade commander? Even if the brigade commander bypasses you, what about the division commander? What about the deputy commander? After Li Yunlong finished listening, Yi Feng, who had a helpless expression on his face, also calmed down. Thinking about the consequences of disobeying orders this time. Li Yunlong, as a soldier who joined the Red Army since the Jute Uprising period. Not unaware of the consequences of battlefield disobedience. Just momentarily disturbed by the emotions of seeking revenge for comrades and the situation on the battlefield. He spoke out, trying to understand the consequences. So what do you say? Zhang Dabiao, who was asked, looked at the Japanese positions and saw that they were preparing intensively. As long as there was a slight retreat on his side, he was afraid that they would all push in. At that time, the new group of people being chased by the tail may not even be able to keep 1/10 of what they are now. Captain, there's something we can do, said Yi Feng, whose eyes lit up. What's the solution? Tell me quickly. Captain, don't you want to step back 500 meters to cover for Captain Wang's artillery bombing of the enemy's headquarters? Yeah, does this have anything to do with not disobeying orders to break through? We can take down their command center first, and there will be delays in the coordination of the various departments of the Little Devils. We will break through in the direction of Yunlong according to the brigade commander's orders. Maybe we can still be there then. Let the 771 and 772 regiments cooperate with us to ambush the Little Devils. Li Yunlong exclaimed, a good idea after listening to Yi Feng's method. Sure, you're quite clever. This way, I avenged my old comrade in arms without disobeying military orders. Even after defeating the brigade commander, I still had to treat me to a drink. Hee hee. Li Yunlong, who finished speaking with a smile, asked the communication officer of the regiment headquarters to explain the situation to the rear brigade command center. The praised Yi Feng pursed his lips, it was just cheating and playing tricks. Strictly speaking, not following orders immediately is considered disobedience. But then again, when the brigade commander is not on the front line giving orders, there will be a slight difference. Based on this calculation, after Li Yunlong takes down the Sakata commander, breaking through to Yunlong according to the order will not be considered a violation of military orders. These are all things that the leader of the group, Li Yunlong, is having a headache. Based on his previous experience watching TV dramas, Li Yunlong's victory this time is still quite significant. Sakata United Ichiro Ida saw that time was approaching and immediately ordered his first team to prepare for an attack. All the soldiers of the 1st Battalion who received the order began to inspect their ammunition one after another. Prepare to work hard and seize the position of the new regiment. New battalion position. Li Yunlong, watching the assault team formed by Zhang Dabiao. Each person carried a large knife on their back and a light machine gun in their hand, which had been mobilized from the entire regiment. Ensuring firepower output during charge. After watching Li Yunlong from the assault team, he noticed Yi Feng beside him. He walked over and patted the other person's shoulder, saying, "You kid, you can take care of them with the Little Devils machine guns later. You must make sure the Little Devils don't dare to touch these weapons." After calming Yi Feng, Li Yunlong didn't wait for him to say anything before watching the new group of people perform the final mobilization. "Comrades, come on and cheer me up. Let the elite TND on the other side know that your ancestors will always be your ancestors. Even if your ancestors are sick, it's not something they can bully like a small country. Comrades. Meeting through narrow paths. The brave win." And Yi Feng finished listening to Li Yunlong's words of mobilization. "I wish I could rush to the position of the Little Devils and kill them in all directions now." Li Yunlong, who had boosted his morale, took it from his guard Huzi's hand, with the handle wrapped in a large red silk knife. "Shout loudly afterwards, officer, blow the charge horn." Subsequently, it was called the Eastern Magic Song by foreigners, and on the battlefield, it made the enemy tremble with fear. The resounding horn echoed through the new regiment's position. The assault team members who heard the horn were the first to charge out of the trench under the leadership of Zhang Dabiao. Rushing towards the position of the Little Devils, followed closely by the other members of the new group. When Yi Feng also sounded the charge horn. Yu reading www.uukangshu.net jumped out of the trench and followed behind to charge towards the position of the Little Devils. Just as the new regiment began to charge. At the command center, Sakata Nobutaka became puzzled. The 8th Route Army, which should have been engaged in defensive operations, surprisingly abandoned their trenches. We began to charge towards our own position. Ichiro Inoda, at the forefront, also looked at the army, also a monk, rushing toward his position, and was puzzled. But as a soldier who has been fighting for several years in China, I also know an ancient Chinese saying, if something goes wrong, there must be a demon. Then quickly ordered the Little Devils under his command to open fire and counterattack to stop the charge of the 8th Route Army. But every time the Little Devils try to touch the heavy machine gun, they will be promptly detected by Yi Feng. Pick up the 56 semi-automatic rifle in your hand and shoot at those little devils who dare to use heavy machine guns to ensure that the assault team does not charge with too much firepower. When killing several machine gunners in a row. Some clever people among the little devils also know that the other party has a sharpshooter who specializes in staring at their own heavy machine guns. The little devils who were close to the dead heavy machine gunners estimated the approximate position of Yi Feng based on the location of the bullets hitting him. At 1 o'clock, there is a sharpshooter. The rest of the light and heavy machine guns were not muted, and I heard the little devils shout. Immediately diverted some of the firepower and fired towards this direction. Yi Feng, who had just finished shooting a magazine, was hiding behind a large rock and loading a bullet onto the 56.5 rifles. Ding 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 ding, da-da da-da, I heard the sound of a unique Type 92 heavy machine gun and the crooked handlebar machine gun, as well as the sound of bullets hitting stones, from the little devil. Chapter 7. See summoning cards again. You are listening at novelfull.audio. 386 Brigade Command Headquarters, Captain. The new communication officer from the regiment has arrived. The brigade commander in the room heard that Li Yunlong had sent a messenger over. Quickly let the other party in. The messenger sent by Li Yunlong entered the room and didn't wait for the brigade commander to ask before revealing the matter. After listening, the brigade commander cursed loudly and said, "This Li Yunlong dares to disobey military orders." The brigade chief of staff on the side heard the brigade commander's scolding. "Old Chen, don't get angry yet. The correspondent just made it clear. Li Yunlong is afraid of being bitten when retreating." Before the chief of staff could finish speaking, the brigade commander interrupted him. He spoke up and said, "Don't give that dog Day an explanation. I must treat him well this time. A new regiment that has charged forward for 500 meters. Li Yunlong quickly ordered the soldiers to defend the attacking position. Li Yunlong saw that the new regiment had already secured a position and shouted loudly for the pillar. "Here we go, Captain. Hurry up the gun. Bomb TND." Pillar quickly set up the 60mm artillery in his hand and fired towards Sakata's command center. "NTND is crooked, the tent is below." Li Yunlong saw the other parties tilt and immediately cursed loudly. The cursed pillar immediately adjusted its mortar and picked up another shell, shooting towards the tent. "I'm afraid one shot won't be enough, so I added another shot." The two shells this time hit the tent one after the other. Bang bang, two consecutive explosions of shells rang out. The pillar saw that two shells from behind had hit the target. Excited for a moment, he stood up and shouted, "Hit." On the side, Yi Feng saw that seeing this veteran who had been on the battlefield for a long time, he was so proud that he stood up straight after a successful attack. He fell to the ground with a loud thud. Da-da-da-da, just as the pillar was about to question, he heard the sound of machine gun bullets hitting the ground. I swallowed in fear and turned my head to look at Yi Feng, who was still pressing on me. "Thank you," I said, "Pillar, you're also a veteran. How could you still make such a basic mistake? If it weren't for the madman knocking you down in time, you would have sacrificed yourself." Before Yi Feng could speak, Li Yunlong, who was standing by, cursed first. "It's okay, it's all comrades. Don't do it again next time." The pillar, who was originally scolded by Li Yunlong, suddenly became in a bad mood. Then I heard Yi Feng's caring words. "It's like drinking a glass of ice water during the dog days." After finishing speaking, Yi Feng continued to lie down and look at the commander of the Sakata squadron. Vaguely, I saw two little devils swaying and standing up. "No matter what, pick up the 56 semi-automatic rifle, load it, aim, fire *3, move the muzzle, aim, fire *3. As for whether we can reach these two little devils and kill them with one shot, it depends on our own luck." Yi Feng quickly calculated in his mind that the mortar used for the pillar had a maximum range of 2,000 meters. In order to avoid missing it from a distance, he advanced 500 meters forward. The maximum distance from Sakata's headquarters is approximately 1,500 meters, while the maximum range of my Type 56 semi-automatic rifle is 2,000 meters. Although it exceeds the effective range, it does not mean that there is no power beyond the shooting distance. I also think that I have a passive skill that hits every shot, and as long as I aim, I will definitely hit. After all, I have not received systematic training. The skills rewarded by the system are not 100% top-notch. Damn it, why don't we reward a high-precision sniper so that I can specifically kill the opponent? After shooting, Yifeng was still complaining that the system did not reward him with a better sniper gun. You bastard, can you hit so far? Isn't this a pure waste of bullets? You're a loser. Li Yunlong, standing beside him, saw him shooting at such a distance and immediately cursed. 1 minute ago, Sakata Command Headquarters when the shell missed the pillar, Sakata Nobutaka suddenly understood why the new regiment was advancing 500 meters forward. It was to cover his artillery and bombard his own headquarters. Sakata, who understood, just had the idea of leaving his command and hadn't taken a few steps yet. The position of the tent he commanded was knocked down by 2 shells following the pillar. This old devil doesn't know if it's because Yifeng has traveled, and the little butterfly flaps its wings. It was a stroke of luck, but surprisingly, they survived the explosion of 2 shells, only suffering minor injuries. And not only did he survive, but also his chief of staff, Uroyo, survived. The 2 of them wobbled and stood up from the ruins of the collapsed command center. The 2 of them, who had just stood up with disheveled faces, looked at each other and could only see each other opening their mouths but could not hear what they were saying. Both of them survived the explosion and were blessed by their ancestors. They still want to communicate normally under the explosion, they are purely thinking nonsense. Sakata. Pooh. Ding. Ding. When the chief of staff, Uroyo, across from Sakata, opened his mouth and said something, this clever man who had evaded the bombardment of pillar shells. The 7.62 by 39 mm bullet from Yifeng entered the mouth and lost its kinetic energy, causing it to explode. Fresh red blood surged out of the mouth. The subsequent 2 bullets also hit Pu Yu's face separately. When Li Yunlong scolded Yifeng, Zhang Dabiao saw with his binoculars that one of the little devils was falling backwards. With a surprised expression on his face, he turned his head to look at Yifeng and then looked at the situation in his glasses. Swallowing his saliva, he said, "Tuan. Captain. Don't scold me anymore, the madman hit me." "What hit?" Yifeng on the side pursed his lips when he heard the words of Captain Zhang Dabiao. "What does it mean to hit?" Yu reading www.yuukangshu.net. It's clear that he was beaten to death, okay. Ding, the host kills one of them and earns 5,000 points. Ding, congratulations to the host for killing Zhongzhua for the first time. An additional intermediate summoning card will be rewarded. Zhongzhua, it seems that he is the chief of staff of the Sakata squadron. Upon hearing the system's announcement, Yifeng murmured softly. After hearing Zhang Dabiao's words, Li Yunlong also picked up a telescope and looked back and forth at the tent that had been knocked down. The 2 who were originally standing up and swaying have already fallen down. Damn it. Yifeng, this kid really has some skills. After secretly cursing, he ordered a new regiment to attack Sakata's command system while it was in chaos. Li Yunlong also knew that his current situation was a violation of military orders, but if he could bring back the evidence of killing Captain Sakata and present it to the brigade commander for his help in pleading for mercy, the merits and demerits might outweigh each other. Yujieling Bold Su, the brigade commander ordered us to cover for Li Yunlong's new regiment to retreat here, but you hear that they are clearly still fighting against Shaori. With Li Yunlong's personality, he will definitely not follow the brigade commander's orders. The commander of the 771st Regiment on the side saw old Cheng, who was not in his own position, instead came to his own position and said these words that were not conducive to unity. Old Cheng, be careful not to let trouble come out of your mouth. I'm not. Alright, since the brigade commander did not order us to evacuate, it means that Li Yunlong will follow the order. If he disobeys, the brigade commander will order us to evacuate then. But now, the battle at Kangyunling has no intention of stopping. Old Su, listen to Old Cheng's words. Underestimation also arose in my heart. Chapter 8. Gun Repair. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Based on the current situation, if Li Yunlong retreats according to the brigade commander's order, Xiao Ri will definitely pursue a new regiment. The new team will be there, but however, if Li Yunlong did not break through according to military orders and instead broke through from the front, the difficulty would be much more difficult than breaking through from Yujieling. And Li Yunlong is also an old soldier. You won't fail to understand this truth. Li Yunlong, what the hell are you up to? You don't really want to break through from the front of a team with your new team, do you? Old Cheng saw Old Su looking towards the direction of Tsangyun Ridge and didn't know what he was thinking. Lao Su, do you think we should send a platoon of people to take care of it? Under the leadership of Li Yunlong, they rushed to the new regiment commanded by Sakata United. As the captain of the assault team, Zhang Dabiao led the way and rushed into the collapsed headquarters to prevent any injured or undead little devils from shooting black guns. After the assault team entered, no gunshots were heard except for the sound of people walking. Li Yunlong and Yi Feng just walked over. As soon as I arrived, I saw Li Yunlong speaking loudly, "De Biao, how many big fish have we caught in this net?" Yi Feng, who took a step slower, didn't wait for Zhang Dabiao to start answering. Just pick up the rifle in your hand and shoot at the corpse in the command center. He repaired the gun in the way described in TV and novels before traveling, with 2 shots in the chest and 1 shot in the head. It is said that this gun repair method shook the gods' heads when they saw it. This person is dead and incurable. Furthermore, as a systematic youth traveler, he clearly knows that there is still one who has not died in this command center. The sound of his shooting frightened Li Yunlong in front of him. Turning his head, he cursed fiercely and said, "You bastard, what's going on? There's no one here anymore, so why shoot? I almost scared to death." Yi Feng, who was scolded, didn't stop his movements and continued to repair his gun while saying, "Captain, aren't I afraid there might be someone who hasn't died? Can I repair a gun to make myself feel at ease?" Li Yunlong, upon hearing his words, thought there was nothing wrong with it, but he couldn't stand wasting bullets while repairing his gun. You should know that your new team, although one of the top players in the basic team, does not have as much ammunition for each soldier as Yi Feng uses to replenish his guns now. In just this short period of time, Yi Feng had almost used up 15 bullets to repair his gun, and he still fired 3 bullets as long as the body was intact. I don't know where the bullets came from this dog day. Li Yunlong, it hurts to see it. Alright, you're good enough for a dog's day. I don't know how to use a lot of bullets, do I? Alright, when it's safe, give me 5,000 rounds. If one is missing, I'll peel your skin. Yi Feng, upon hearing what Li Yunlong had said, quickly stopped the action of repairing the gun. It's not enough not to stop. While Li Yunlong was speaking, he had already repaired all the corpses on the ground. Remember, you owe me 5,000 bullets. When it's safe, you can deliver them to me within 3 days. No, Captain, why do I owe you 5,000 rounds? 8,000. No, it's only 8,000. Just as he was still trying to argue, when he saw Li Yunlong's hand pointing up a finger, he knew that if he dared to argue, 8,000 could turn into 10,000. A hero who doesn't suffer immediate losses, a man who can bend and stretch. I quickly agreed. The new group of others on the side were all holding back their smiles when they saw this scene. What are you guys laughing at, Dog Day? Why didn't you stop him just now? Captain, we didn't expect that Captain Yi would suddenly shoot. When he does, we won't have time to hide. How dare we stop him? That's right, Captain. I'm so far away, let's not talk about it. They started explaining their reasons one by one. At this moment, while Yi Feng was arguing with Li Yunlong after repairing his gun, he walked up to him and said, "Captain, I have seen a total of 1 colonel, 2 middle colonels, and 3 or 4 colonels here. One of the middle sergeants and one of the senior sergeants, who were single-handedly killed, and the rest were all killed by mortar attacks on pillars." When Li Yunlong heard that one of the sergeants and the middle sergeant had been shot to death, he even glanced at Yi Feng. "All right, put away your ranks and knives." 3 to 5 minutes later, looking at the already clean Sakata headquarters, Li Yunlong waved his hand and led the new group of soldiers to retreat towards Yujieling. Yujieling, when the gunfire stopped, Old Cheng, who was still on the position of Lao Su, felt a thump in his heart. Lao Su. Old Cheng. The two of them looked at each other and didn't know what to say. Just as the two of them were not tired of each other, they were arranged to go out, and the soldiers who went to investigate the situation shouted and ran back. "Captain, the new regiment has left the battle and retreated towards the position of Yujieling." The two of them finally put their lifted hearts back into their stomachs. "How far is it from here?" *2, 8 miles. "Okay. Old Cheng, shall we prepare?" Jinsui Army 358th Regiment Base, Tuanzuan, the forward observation post is calling, saying that the 8th Route Army has broken through. The colonel walked towards the colonel's room as he spoke. Upon hearing that the 8th Route had broken through, the colonel was also amazed. How did they break through? The observation post at the forefront of the drama reported that after the 8th Route Army destroyed Sakata's headquarters, they broke through from the direction of Yujieling while their command system was disrupted. After listening to the colonel's words, the colonel walked over to the map hanging in the room and looked at it. After reading for a while, the colonel seemed to understand the operation of the 8th Route. "Brother Li Gong, do you know the names of these commanders from the 8th Route?" According to intelligence, it is the new regiment of the 386th Brigade under the command of Li Yunlong. After thinking for a while, the colonel spoke up. "He, my senior Huangpu student can really be said to be imposing no weak soldiers on his subordinates." 386 Brigade Command Headquarters Chief of Staff Li walked into the room from outside the door and said, "Old Chen, there was news from the 772nd Regiment just now." Captain Chen, who was watching the situation between us and the enemy, looked up at the Chief of Staff who came in. "What news?" "Li Yunlong and his team have withdrawn from the battle towards Yujieling. It is estimated that they have now converged." "Haha. Okay, tell them to cover the evacuation of the new regiment and decide on their own time to withdraw to their base. Then ask them to inform Li Yunlong to transfer to Li Jiao for temporary rest." "Yes." The front enemy headquarters of the 8th Route Army report a call from Brigade 386. A telegraph operator from the telecommunications department, upon receiving the telegram. "Get up and walk outside the command center, shouting loudly." A staff officer in charge of communication walked to the door to take the telegram from the telegraph operator's hand and glanced at the message in the telegram. "Xiao Lu, what did the telegram from Brigade 386 say?" While reading the information, General Lu was pulled back by a gentle and anxious question. Turning around, he said, "Commander, Captain Chen's telegram says that the new regiment has withdrawn from the direction of Yujieling. The specific situation will be transmitted after we have a better understanding." "Okay, call back the 386th Brigade and tell them to organize the battle briefing as soon as possible." "Yes." Upon receiving the order, General Lu walked to the telecommunications room and asked the telegraph operator to call back the 386th Brigade. Chapter 9. Ambush. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yujieling. After a period of marching, the new regiment finally merged with the two regiments receiving cover. Lao Li, did the evacuation journey go smoothly? After all the members of the new regiment passed, Old Su from the 771 Regiment came to Li Yunlong to inquire. "Not bad. Little devil, there is only one squadron in this direction. With just one charge, I suddenly burst out. Qing Blind from the 772 Regiment, who walked over from the other side, happened to hear what Li Yunlong was saying. Li Datu, are you so awesome? You broke through the defense line of a squadron with just one charge. Why didn't you say you destroyed Sakata's headquarters? He said sarcastically. Li Yunlong, who had been mocked, turned his head to see that it was the blind man Cheng who he had taught under his own hands. He glanced at him and said, Cheng Blind, you shouldn't be so weird there. Why can't I break through the defense line of a Japanese squadron in one charge? Why didn't I retreat after destroying Sakata's headquarters? Yoha, listen to what you mean, you're a new team. Japanese North China Front Army, headquarters of the 1st Army stationed in Jin. A junior assistant walked to a study and knocked on the door before entering, saying, Your Excellency, Colonel Sakata Nobutaka's jade has been shattered. Nanny. There is a little devil wearing clothes in front of the desk. I was writing on rice paper with a brush when I heard the news reported by Zhongzhua. My hand, holding the brush, paused and destroyed the finished set of characters. Wasn't Sakata Nobuyoshi's team here, fighting against Kang Yunling in 8th Route? How could it be shattered? Hi, a few minutes ago, Ichiro Ida, the 1st Squadron of the Sakata Squadron, sent a telegram saying that the headquarters had been shelled by the 8th Route. Bagaya Road, the artillery of the 8th Route Regiment, can only hit up to 2 kilometers at most. How could it possibly reach Sakata's headquarters? General Commander, upon hearing the words of Lieutenant Colonel, loudly questioned. Your Excellency, I have inquired that it was Jun Sakata who moved the command center 2 kilometers away from the 8th Route in order to have a clear view of the battle situation. He was discovered by the 8th Route and advanced 500 meters before being hit. Absurdity. Send a telegram to Fuichi Kawamura of the 4th Brigade, asking him to send someone to investigate the situation of the battle at Kang Yunling. After investigating, send someone to reorganize the 3rd Brigade. Hi, now the 3rd team is. After thinking for a moment, the general said, let Ichiro Ida temporarily serve as the team leader and withdraw to the nearest county town for investigation. Yujiling, Captain, the little devils from that half squadron have caught up with us. We're less than 5 miles away. Qing Blind, who had been scolded by Li Yunlong, was scolded before he could finish speaking. Yi Feng, who had been arranged to cut off by Li Yunlong, ran over and spoke. Upon hearing what he said about Li Yunlong, his face immediately drooped. I boasted in front of my old comrades, but now everything was exposed. Turning his head to look at Yi Feng, he said, You bastard, it doesn't depend on the situation. We have 3 regiments here, and we're afraid of the little devils from only half the squadron. Old Su, Qing Blind, how about we work together to eat this half squadron? The spoils of war will be evenly distributed between your 2 families, and I won't take any of it. After training Yi Feng, he turned his head and playfully smiled at the 2 regimental leaders Cheng and Su. Captain Cheng and Su, upon hearing Li Yunlong's words, looked up to see if the sun in the sky had risen from the east. Li Yunlong has always been the one who eats more and takes more. This time, he actually took the initiative to distribute the spoils of war. This is not his style at all. Give me a message then. What's going on in the sky? The 2 people being questioned exchanged glances at each other. Lao Su spoke up and asked his doubts. Isn't it that our new regiment has been fighting for a long time? We don't have the energy to fight anymore. That's why. That's not right either. You don't have the energy to fight anymore. Did you just say 3 regiments together? Ah. Is that what I said? Li Yunlong looked at the 2 of them with a dumbfounded expression. Forget it, just consider what you said to be true. Lao Su, look at the silly Li Yunlong. After waving his hand, he turned around and arranged for the soldiers of the 771st Regiment to start preparing for battle. Li Yunlong looked at Lao Su who had already prepared and turned his head to look at Qing Blind. Humph, Cheng, who was being watched by him, snorted coldly and went to the position of the 772nd Regiment to prepare for battle. Returning to the battlefield, the two regimental leaders Cheng and Su began to prepare with great enthusiasm. The 771st and 772nd Regiments had already dug up their trench positions before because they needed to take over the new regiment. Now, all they need is a simple repair. By the way, in order to eliminate the little devils after a wave of firepower, we also mobilized half of the machine guns to the front. On the other hand, Li Yunlong and Yi Feng reminded the new team. Yi Feng, just keep waiting for you to stare at the little devil's heavy firepower. Captain, I understand. Seeing that Yi Feng understood his meaning, Li Yunlong reached out and patted the other person's shoulder. With a smile, he said, okay, when it's safe, I'll promote you to become a platoon leader. Upon hearing that Li Yunlong wanted to make himself a platoon leader, Yi Feng declined and said, Captain, I've done a good job as a platoon leader. Let's just forget about the platoon leader, right? Making you a platoon leader is something that I look up to. It's something your kid deserves with his abilities. You're still pushing around. You go ask someone else about it, do they want to be a platoon leader? After listening to Li Yunlong's crooked remarks about my method, Yi Feng was left speechless. Captain, I'll go fight the Japanese first. After speaking, he turned around and ran to the forefront, finding a position that was conducive to his own hiding and allowed him to see the whole picture. Lie down and wait for the little devils from that half squadron. Just lying down, Yi Feng loaded his 56 rifle with bullets. Not long after, the little devils appeared. A few little devils who were responsible for reconnaissance ahead were observing the situation around them while pursuing the new regiment's forward route. Also, be aware at all times that the new group of sharpshooters occasionally give themselves a shot. This is mainly because the new regiment has been surrounded by a protrusion. Due to his good marksmanship and having a criminal record of being able to snipe small devils from a distance, Yi Feng was assigned a post-execution task by Li Yunlong. That's why the little devil's pursuers are so careful. Otherwise, it is easy for the new group to break through and the possibility of being bitten is also significant. After the appearance of the little devils, they entered the shooting range of the 771 and 772 regiments. Under the special instructions of their respective regimental leaders, the machine guns arranged by the two regiments opened fire together. Shooting towards the little devils from both sides of Yunlong, the little devils were quickly defeated by two regiments. The remaining soldiers of the two regiments also fired at the little devils with rifles after the machine guns opened fire. In just 5 minutes, the little devils from this half squadron were annihilated under the collective fire of two regiments. Cease fire and quickly clean up the battlefield. The leaders of the two regiments saw that no more little devils had survived, so they quickly ordered the soldiers to cease fire. Just as the two regiments were cleaning the battlefield, the communication officer from the brigade arrived. Captain Cheng, where's Captain Su? The correspondent dismounted and immediately asked. When Li Yunlong heard these words on the side, he turned his head and saw that it was the communication officer of the brigade. Hurriedly approaching, he spoke up and said, I am Li Yunlong from the new regiment. Captain Cheng and Captain Su are cleaning the battlefield. Can you tell me anything in advance? Chapter 10. Inventory of Assets. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The correspondent looked at the person in front of him and said he was Li Yunlong. After confirming, he began to convey the commander's order. Li Yunlong, who received the order, sent Huzi with the correspondent to inform the two regimental leaders Cheng and Su to go. I have the conductor play the assembly horn myself. Gather a new group of people and prepare to march towards Liangjian. After a while, all the members of the new regiment who heard the assembly number had lined up and gathered. Including Yi Feng who cooperated in the battle and Huzi who was sent to lead the way. Captain, all members of the new regiment have gathered. Please instruct, Captain Zhang Dabiao of the 1st Battalion. I don't have any instructions. Since we have gathered, let's march towards Liangjian immediately. Yes. Zhang Dabiao saw that Li Yunlong really had nothing to say, so he turned around and immediately led a new group to march towards the destination. When the new regiment was halfway through the march, the leaders of the 771st and 772nd regiments came over. "Old Li, have you received the order?" "Well, just now the communication officer from the brigade said." "Okay, since you already know about it, I won't say much more. You should pay attention to safety all the way, and old Cheng and I will also withdraw. Thank you both very much this time." After speaking, Li Yunlong stood at attention and saluted the two team leaders. The two of them, seeing Li Yunlong in such a formation, immediately stood up and responded to each other. The three saluters looked at each other with smiles on their faces. After several hours of extreme marching, the new regiment finally arrived at Liangjian at 6 p.m. The village chief and militia captain, who had already received the news, waited at the village entrance early. The sharp-eyed militia captain saw a large group of people walking with weapons. "Hurry up a few steps and ask, who are you?" "We are from the new 1st Regiment of the 386th Brigade. We have been ordered to station in Lijiawa." "Who are you?" The captain of the militia heard the other party say it was a new regiment, which is the same as receiving news during the day. Although this is the base of the 8th Route Army, the captain of the militia, who was cautious and had no major mistakes, asked again. "Where can your group leader be?" "I am the team leader Li Yunlong." Captain of the militia, it was only then that it was confirmed that they were the legitimate 8th Route and not the counterfeits of the Little Devils. After all, Li Yunlong's fame is not yet as big as the Little Devils know. Although pretending means pretending, few people know. But that also requires the Little Devil to know about this person's situation. The current Li Yunlong, firstly, did not eliminate the observation group. Secondly, how could the Little Devils know that there was such a number one figure in the 8th Route Army without fighting the Battle of Pinyin Gol? I really work as an intelligence department for Little Devils. It doesn't take much effort to gather intelligence. It would be great to have the energy to inquire about several high-ranking Jin Sui and nationalist armies. Their intelligence there is as casual as a sieve, and they can do 3 things for just 1 penny. After a conversation, the militia captain and Li Yunlong confirmed the accommodation issue for their new regiment and disbanded the troops to let the soldiers rest. In a room Yifeng sat on the Kong and looked at the surrounding walls, bare of rough sand. There was also a dilapidated seat and a water bottle with a notch on the ground, lost in thought. How could I have seen such a situation before traveling? Even if I watched anti-Japanese TV dramas, I wouldn't be able to capture the specific details of the house. Even if it's captured, there seems to be some beautification during playback. Yifeng, who was sitting there, spent a lot of time doing psychological construction for himself before accepting the current situation. Remembering that the beginner gift package also rewards oneself with an unlimited summoning card, quickly open the system to see what this summoning card does. Unrestricted summoning card. It can summon all military-related things. Not limited to soldiers, technology products, fantasy items, game equipment, black technology, and other existing things. Only you can think of something that cannot be done without the system. Note: the summoned character will come to the host within half a day and be 100% loyal to the host. After reading the introduction of the summoning card, Yifeng couldn't understand the unrestricted one. I have the intention to use the summoning card, but I am afraid that it will summon people. I won't be able to explain it then. After all, I have just arrived at Liangjian. If this summoning is a soldier, it's hard to explain why it will arrive within half a day. After reading the introduction of the summoning card, Yifeng remembered that he also had points and additional rewards from the enemy killing system. After opening the system log, all rewards from the system after advancing 500 meters of combat from the cover pillar. Ding, kill 63 soldiers of the Little Devil and earn 888 points. Ding, kill 34 soldiers and earn points of 34 times 5 is equal to 170 points. Ding, kill 18 people of Chao Chang and earn points of 18 times 10 is equal to 180 points. Ding, kill 9 lieutenants and earn points of 50 times 9 is equal to 450 points. Ding, kill 5 lieutenants and earn points of 100 times 5 is equal to 500 points. Ding, kill 2 captains and earn a total of 1000 points. Ding, kill 1 young lieutenant and earn 1000 points. Ding, kill Nakasa and earn 5000 points. Sakata Chief of Staff. Ding, kill one of the sergeants and earn 10,000 points. Ding, congratulations to the host for killing Zhongzhua for the first time. An additional intermediate summoning card will be rewarded. Ding, congratulations to the host for killing Captain for the first time. An additional reward of a high-level summoning card will be given. Ding, you have killed more than 100 little devils in total. An additional reward of 56 semi-automatic rifles is 30. Each rifle comes with 2 base ammunition. Ding, if you kill more than 150 people in total, you will receive an additional reward of 56 automatic rifles and 15. Each rifle comes with 3 base ammunition. Ding, has killed over 200 people in total and obtained an additional 56 light machine guns, each with 3 base ammunition. Intermediate summoning card. Can summon a total of 100 soldiers from different branches. Random branch, advanced summoning card. You can summon characters from military TV that you are familiar with. Note: advanced summoning cards can only summon characters from special forces, and cannot exceed 1 team, 12 people. Stains and Stains. Unexpectedly, after crossing half a day, there were already over 200 people killing enemies on their own. More exaggerated than any TV drama. Novels don't even include such writing. Yi Feng calculated that he had already earned 19,567 points by killing the little devils. In the system space, there are also 30 domestically produced Type 56 semi-automatic rifles, excluding our own, 20 Type 56 automatic rifles, and 6 Type 56 light machine guns. In addition, there is one AR-98K rifle from the original Sandesi factory and one Colt M1911 pistol. 45,300 rounds of 7.62 by 39 mm bullets. Unified ammunition for the Type 56 gun family, 175 rounds of 7.92 by 57 mm bullets. 98K rifle cartridge, 200 rounds of 11.43 by 23 mm bullets. M1911 pistol cartridge. I don't know if I don't look, I'm scared at first glance. You should know that during the same period, the ammunition situation of the 8th Root Army may not be as much as that of Yi Feng. At this time, the supply of ammunition for the 8th Root Army was severely insufficient, which affected the combat capability of the troops. In response to this situation, the 8th Root Army has started using reloaded bullets. As the name suggests, it means collecting the casings after a war, reloading them with gunpowder, and then using them again. Although this method did indeed compensate for the shortage of ammunition in some of the 8th Root Army. But the performance of this type of reloaded bullet is much worse than its original performance in terms of range and lethality. Except for ammunition, if all the weapons in Yi Feng's hand were taken out, he could form an enhanced platoon without supporting firepower support according to the configuration of the People's Liberation Army in the 1960s.